Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the Daily Office Lectionary. And today is All Saints' Day. It is a major prayer book holy day, so much so that we will also commemorate it on Sunday with all those wonderful great hymns like "For all the saints who from their labors rest," right? Wonderful hymns. So in the way that the daily office is done, usually we have the week, we're in the 20th week after Trinity, and there's lessons assigned for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., etc. But major holy days like this also have a set of lessons assigned for morning or evening prayer. And in fact, they actually have lessons that were assigned for evening prayer last night for the Eve, right? All Hallows Eve. And then today there are lessons assigned for morning or evening prayer. And I'm going to jump into one of those, and that is from the Book of Wisdom. There are lessons at morning and evening prayer from the Revelation to St. John the Divine. Of course, it talks about the saints in heaven. But this is from the Old Testament, from the Book of Wisdom. The souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery. And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastened, they shall be greatly rewarded, for God proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation they shall shine, and rode to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They shall judge the nations, and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. And they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth. And such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. Okay, so first of all, the word saint, right, comes from the word holy. There are people, holy people, and we are called to be holy people for our holy God. In fact, we are called to be saints. Now, we have an image, of course, in our mind of what saints are, and we think of the great saints of the church, St. Peter and Paul, St. John, of course, our own patron saint, people like St. Francis and St. Clare, and even more modern day people who are on the Roman Catholic path to sainthood, like Solanus Casey here in Detroit. There are lots of folks on the Episcopal Church we call people who are notables, who we keep from our book Lesser Feasts and Fasts, and we commemorate on the calendar. But we're all called to holiness. And in fact, the word saint is oftentimes applied to the assembly of all the people of the church. We are called as the saints of God. And yet at the same time, we do have an understanding within the church, and hopefully within ourselves, of the desire and the need for holiness, which we probably haven't attained to quite yet. And yet we are called to that holiness, right? We are called to be saints. And so because of that, God will give us all the grace necessary, right? For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. So God will send us all of the ability for us to do these things as he desires us to do, right? But it may not be without trial, right? The world will try to dissuade us, and it will eventually try to hate us if, in fact, we are trying to follow God's will. So it's important for us to remember that it may not always be comfortable to be saints, but it is always wonderfully rewarding because we are doing the will of God and learning to be the people that he desires us to be. And of course, we'll talk a little bit more about this at the Holy Communion service today at 12:15, which you can attend in person or you can watch online. But either way, I wish you a very, very blessed Feast of All Saints.